Right then, another Touareg video. So, not really done much on it since last time I went away in it at Wales, so if you watch that video. Couple little things that definitely needed rectifying, or need rectifying. I'm going to sort this dent out, and then sort this quick repair that we did to fix that damaged radiator that the winch rope, well, not winch rope, sorry, tow rope caused. Oh! No, it's a secondary radiator, but we'll be alright. When a kinetic rope snaps, they cause damage. So I've got to fix this here, because basically I think if you go too fast, it's going to rip in slam panel because there's no bracket there. So we need to sort of bracket out and get rid of all broken bits of stuff that are kicking about. And I think we'll put the grill back in, and I've got a badge to put on there, so we'll talk about that when we do it. So the main things that are going to get done today, got a load of random bits, but basically I'm going to put this light bar on, which this is pretty bright. I don't know where it's going to bolt or what it's going to bolt to, but it wants to go up here somewhere. We might be able to make some brackets to put it on so it's not in wear out, but anyway, we'll figure that out later on. This came off one of those other projects that nobody's seen yet, so we'll keep that under wraps. Then the other main thing is this prop centre bearing that we're going to put on. So JXB Performance, these have come from, they call them dry shaft carriers, but we call them prop shafts. This is going to stop the centre bearing failing, which is probably the most common problem with these that you can't really improve without buying something like this. It's not cheap, but it'll do the job. Really lovely piece of machining as well. They're quite expensive, but when you look at them, we definitely couldn't do it cheaper even if we tried. Even if we copied it, we couldn't do it cheaper, so there's no point even trying. So that's why you're better off buying it from places that test things properly and use them rather than just trying to go your own way. So that are the main things. I might get Owen, I'll throw all this crap out of the way. I might get Owen to throw these brake pads in, because we put some just cheap brake pads in before. They were meant to be OE quality, but they've just got no bite whatsoever. So we'll put these in. We keep them on shelf anyway. And it's getting a bit heavy, this, so we'll see. The other thing, put these in so that the fog light, turn light things actually work, so I'll get Owen to sort that. And then this here, it's actually a thermostat from, I think it's from a Rennie 5 Turbo or something like that, but it bought through Rover Spares. So put the link to that on the website. This seemed to be, when I was looking on the forums, when I initially got this, the thermostat was stuck open, so it never got warm. A lot of people then just, rather than using the gasket, they just chop the top radiator hose, stick this in, and then that makes it get a bit warmer, which this is, 89 degrees. The standard thermostat in these are 105, but then they have got a mapped, like a heater wire going in there that the ECU controls. The problem I've had is when we had the overheating problems, which turned out it were probably just, it were airlocked, which were a pain, but we got that sorted in the end. Just basically patience fixes that. I drilled some holes in the thermostat, and then I've damaged the thermostat, so now it's always at 105, and then when you're booting it, it just gets warmer, which doesn't seem to be an uncommon thing, but it's not what I want. I'd rather it be sat at 80, 90 degrees rather than 105, and then when you hammer it, it can get up to 100. Because it seems the cooling system's got plenty of capacity, but if the thermostat's already 105, it's no good. So we're going to try that. It's cheap. If it don't work, we'll figure something else out. But obviously, I'm going to have to take the thermostat out again and take the middle of the thermostat out, so it's only got this. So if you've got one of these that's running too cool, just buy one of these if it works. But anyway, so the other thing, we've got some silicon dielectric grease. We're going to try and do every plug and every connector with this as well, just so, because it's got the snorkels on now, it's going to start seeing some deeper water, which I've gone up sort of past the headlights, but I don't think it's quite submerged everything. So I've got a couple of tubes of that. And that's actually just made around corner from us there. Goldthorpe not far from us, it's like 5 minutes away. Anyway, just got this for the kids to look at when we're off-roading, see how, you've got to stick that in there somehow. See how steep we're going, so that should be pretty interesting. It might look good on videos as well, it's just a cheap thing off eBay, but anyway, yeah, that needs clipping back in. So we've looked at that. So then these are something that we're going to probably look into more detail, but that's all get mixed in. These are the downpipe flanges, so we've counterbored these a little bit to accept the tube properly and then maintain the same thing. It looks like a real pig to get the downpipes out with the cats in, so, and I'm not really bothered about doing it just yet, but when we get to the point where we're not needing this for a bit, maybe over winter, we'll get these thrown in and then they'll be listed for sale on the website. It might be sooner, it might be winter. Then these bits here are something a bit experimental. Whether it works or not, I'm not too sure, but basically the idea behind these is to, there's two different sizes as well, so I'll make sure I grab the right ones. Basically what we'll do is chop the anti-roll bar in the middle, the front or the rear one, and then weld these to them. So basically the anti-roll bar's chopped and then you've got these welded in place and then you've got this chute bolt in between. So then if you want to disconnect the roll bars, you just pull that like that and then they can move independently. So put they'll have a grease nickel on there so they can move independently. But then when you want to go back on the road, just lock it back in place. Whether it works or not too sure. It was just an idea. The front one is going to be quite difficult to get to anyway because of the guards, but the rear one, if we have a look, is not that hard to get to anyway. So we're just going to have to offset it. It's probably going to end up like here somewhere. We'll just do it away. So it just needs to be somewhere that's not going to get in the way, which I think having more articulation on the rear is probably a better idea than the front because the front drive shafts are at quite an angle already, which I don't think you can really see it, but when you drop a wheel in, you can hear the drive shafts clicking away, which that's because the CVs are at a funny angle and they're already, because of the lift kit, we're already pulling them out. So I'm going to see, I've seen a few people mention it when I mentioned it, about putting some drive shaft spacers in, like what we do when we put more camber and wider arms on the race cars, and these dry shafts, I believe, there's one buried in boot here somewhere, which it's underneath all that crap. But when I'm going to get the spare dry shaft out, I'll double check. So we've already got like 3, 5, 8 and 10 mil spacers, I think, for them, and it should be the same like Golf or whatever. So we'll try putting some of them in with some longer bolts, and if that stops the problem, then I can run it a bit higher. Because if I put this into off-road mode and I'm going uphill, sort of doing a bit of a wheelie, the dry shafts sound absolutely terrible. So we'll see if we can fix that as well. So there's a lot of stuff in the works. Whatever we film, whatever we do, you'll see after this. But then everything else might happen later on. So Owen's got the centre bearing supporting, which that's absolutely miles better now. I should have probably wobbled it before, but if you look at what we're replacing, like that's not 100% required to be changed, but basically just chopped all this off. Basically that's just rubber. You could just wobble it about all over the place. But this is a new one as well, so the bearing itself's pretty new, but this still looked like it was starting to not tear, but it was showing signs of aging. So I forgot to mention when I was looking at these, we've listed all of these on the website now, because they do different ones for pretty much every four-wheel drive, 4Motion, Aldex, Quattro, whatever you want to call it. Pretty much most models are covered for these. Not sure how big of a problem it is. We don't get a lot of them in for replacement, but I know the big power petrol guys do a lot. So They're listed on website anyway. We might start stocking some, depending how much of them we sell. But anyway, shameless plug over. We'll let Owen put all this back on and then move on to the next few little jobs. So, we managed to get the prop bearing sorted, which seen that while it were on the ramp. The light bar's on, which I don't think he filmed, so that's all sorted. Looks pretty sweet. We've had to chop end at wipers off, and then Monkey's chewed a bit more of it off as well. But that's another story. Just screwed it straight to the side with just the same screws that we use for the snorkel anyway, which the snorkel kits come with better screws than that, but anyway. Yeah, looks like it grew there and it works. Just got it on the main beam. Whether we want it on a separate switch, I don't know. And then we just wired that up to a relay, and then that's getting the power straight from the battery. These are the terminals that you jump it with, which is the same one that the winch is going to, which I'm going to unplug because we don't need it at the minute. And then he did the thermostat as well, which that's just here, so there's literally no cutting any tubes or all like that. Obviously we had to take the thermostat completely out and take the middle out of the thermostat, which that, when I didn't want to break it, I had a little tug and it didn't come out, but then when I ragged it, it came out pretty easy. So like I said earlier, if your thermostat is stuck open and it's cool, this is a proper easy job, except bleeding it up. Like we said before, I think I've had to top this up twice now, even though we vacuum bled it and undid all the little bleed nipples everywhere. It still needed probably half a litre to top it up, otherwise it just overheats, boils it and starts blowing it out. So gentle drive, park it up, leave it overnight, top it up, gentle drive again, leave it overnight, top it up, fine. So that's sorted. I think when Owen first put it on, he had it at the other side and he reckoned it still got taut, but I'd have thought it should have been at that side, but we've got it at this side anyway. And when I've been driving it, it's sat at 95, 96 degrees most of the time. And if you absolutely hammer it, it gets to about 100. Not had it off-road, in low range, and being stuck in mud and stuff like that to see if it gets any warmer. So we'll monitor that and get back to people. But yeah, they're cheap for what they are, so definitely better than like 350 quid for a genuine thermostat. So really happy with that. So next job, take it off-roading, enjoy it for a bit, and we'll see how we get on.